So it came up shortly after the videos that I did on selecting defensive ammunition. Somebody asked me what I like to buy. How do I go about going out and selecting and purchasing handgun ammunition to carry for personal defense? What criteria, other than the four I mentioned, do I go by? So I figured I'd answer that today. I have a list, and I think there's like 8 or 9 things on it that I really go out and I look for when I go buy a bullet. So first and foremost, and I'm going to go over the obvious stuff and the not so obvious stuff in this whole thing. I'll go over it nice and quick for you. So first off, I want it to be a hollow point. Period. That's pretty much it. Not a spear point, not a lead top, not a flat nose, not a full metal jacket ball round, not a lead slug or any copper fancy stuff. A cup and core hollow point. That's it. That's what I want. Standard mainstream. Um, I want to uh, penetrate sufficiently and not be at high risk for collateral damage. I hate saying the phrase over penetration because I think that's something that people worry too much about. Um, but sufficient to say I want it to be able to penetrate an intermediate barrier and then be able to hit a vital structure in an adversary, let's say. Gel testing is a great way to determine that. If you can't do a gel test, fill a 5-gallon bucket 3/4 full of ice water and shoot into it. See if it punches through the bottom. If it does, it's too much. If not, you did good. A great way to test weight retention too. Thirdly, mainstream manufacturer. Not really looking for your Buffalo Boars or Double Tap or Liberty Defense or any of that kind of here and not there manufacturers. By that I mean sold here, uncommonly, not sold there, maybe sold in this side of town over there. I like mainstream, Winchester, Hornady, Remington, the ones everybody knows. I like them to be readily available. Okay. These two really are not so much for ease of purchasing, and I'll get to these are clumped together with another group that I'll get to in a second. I like it to be able to expand to at least 1.5 times its original diameter. Again, that bucket test is a great way to do it. If you got gel testing available to you or you can afford to do that, that's fantastic. Or you got a pig carcass or something like that. Weight retention, again, the ice water test is awesome for that. It has to have at least a 90% weight retention to qualify for me, at least. That's important for energy transition from the projectile to the intended target. So that weight retention to me is actually pretty important. Definitely no fragmenting rounds, that's for sure. Standard construction, that's one of the 4 things on the list. Same with the weight retention. So weigh the same, fly the same as your practice ammunition. Basically, have the constructed of the same materials. Okay. Safe and reliable in my personal handgun. My handgun's rated for it. Let's say I don't buy plus P plus or anything like that. And this one's kind of obscure. I like and this is what's clumped together with these two over here. I like there to be some sort of indication on the package it's purchased in as to what it's intended for. And I like it to be either labeled as use for personal defense and hunting or simply personal defense. Or personal defense and law enforcement. That's fine too. But for me, it's really pushing your luck on the legal standpoint of things. You're really counting it against yourself to buy things that say RIP on the box or fragmenting hollow point or definitely no thug slugs or anything like that. You're even pushing your luck, really honestly, if you buy things that say extreme terminal performance or anti-personnel. Those phrases to me just mean good at killing, and I really, really hate stuff like that because I know after the Harold Fish case, prosecuting attorneys are not as likely to use your type of gun and ammunition against you. But if they think they can, depending on the prosecuting attorney, if they think they can squeeze it in before somebody objects, they'll do it. if they think they can get away with it, just because with the jury you can't unring that bell basically. So if somebody were to say, why are you using cop killing hollow points, something, I could say, I'm not. It says personal defense right on this box right here, idiot. Learn how to read. That's a really great leg up as far as I'm concerned. And that really fits in with the readily available and uh, mainstream manufacturer, mainstream, readily available, says personal defense on it. That says normal person using normal things for their intended purpose. And that really is a big leg up as far as I'm concerned. So really what I'm looking for is all that stuff combined. Things that qualify, right? So I guess really getting down to the direct question, if I go to the store and purchase something, what meets all, what is that, all 9 of those criteria? Honestly, the mainstream bulk hollow points actually do pretty well. So the Winchester white box, provided they're the full metal jacket. In smaller calibers, even the partial jacket hollow point does pretty well. The Remington green and white box UMC hollow points are extraordinarily good in every aspect. Hornady XTPs do pretty good. Hornady critical defense, depending on the caliber, meets all those criteria. I like how in the name it says defense too on that one. The Hornady American Gunner and Hornady Custom that use the XTP bullets are pretty good. I don't like the box that says XTP for the aforementioned reason. Extreme terminal performance, great at killing. I really hate that. So Hornady Custom, Hornady American Gunner, somewhere on the box it'll say for use in law enforcement or personal defense. So those all work pretty good. Golden Saber Bonded works pretty good, although not really readily available. Spear Gold Dots meet all the criteria. And let's see, what does Federal Premium make that's really good? Federal Premium makes the Hydra Shock and the HST that are really good. So now we're up to 11 options. That's pretty easy. I mean, there's a lot of options. I'm hesitant to say Winchester Defenders or PDX-1s, not for the reason you're thinking, not because they used to be called Black Talons, but because of the price of them, really. They're like $1.50 each. Oh, that's the 10th criteria. I like them to be under $1 a piece. That's something that's really important to me because I can't even count how many times somebody's called me, hey, something's digging through my trash can, or I'm driving across private property from point A to point B, and I stop and shoot a rabbit or a rock chuck or something out the window, or a squirrel or something out the window with my handgun because it's there, and I can't even count the number of times I've done that. And I hate that the first thing that pops into my head sometimes is, man, that's going to be a $4 rabbit if I shoot it, because if I miss once or twice, I really hate that. So I like them to be less than $1 a piece. That's the 10th criteria. So 10 criteria. I think we got up to 14 just off. That was just, I didn't rehearse that either. That's off the top of my head. So there are, depending on your caliber that you're shooting, there are tons of options out there that meet those. But again, I'll go over them one more time for you. Hollow point, correct penetration, reasonable penetration, mainstream manufacturer, readily available, time and a half expansion, good weight retention, standard construction, safe and reliable, some kind of label on there that says law enforcement, personal protection, or hunting, and less than $1 a piece. Those are my 10 criteria, and there are plenty of bullets that meet those criteria. So hopefully that answers that. This isn't really an informative or instructional video. Like I said, somebody asked me, what do I buy and how do I buy them? Well, there it is. So hopefully somebody found that interesting.